Welcome to this Actian and Yellowfin webinar on fast and intuitive analytics for growing data. Hello, my name is Jason Leonidas and I'm the VP of Sales and Services for Actian in Asia Pacific. Today I'll be joined by Daniel Shaw-Dennis, who is a Product Strategy Manager at Yellowfin. Well, who are Actian and Yellowfin and why are we talking about fast and easy analytics? Well, firstly, Yellowfin is a highly intuitive BI platform. It has been recognized as a leader in BI usability and mobile BI. This was highlighted by the latest Wisdom of Crowd survey where Yellowfin excelled in all usability categories. In mobile BI, in a Howard Dresner report, it achieved a top 3 score for its mobile capabilities. At Actian, our vision is to help organizations take action on growing data. We do this with our record-breaking Vectorwise database, which is unchallenged as the world's fastest database. It has smashed every public benchmark by the largest margin ever for performance, price performance, and energy efficiency. Both Yellowfin and Vectorwise are strategic partners and together are focused on making BI faster and easier for our clients. Today's webinar is all about how you can achieve fast and more intuitive analytics. We'll be talking about the challenge of data growth and how it affects delivering effective BI within your organization. We'll discuss the biggest issues in BI today and how the combination of Vectorwise and Yellowfin make BI faster and easier, particularly in the face of growing data challenges. I'll then pass you over to Dan from Yellowfin, who will give you a demonstration of what fast and intuitive analytics from both an end user's desktop and a mobile device. And for us skeptics, we'll show you some independent benchmarks that validate what we're saying, and we'll finally open up the floor to any questions. For those of you who saw our last joint webinar, we're really going to up the ante and you'll be amazed at what's possible and how easy it is to get started. So what is driving this data explosion? I particularly like the quote from David McCandy's, "Data is the new oil." And what does that mean? Well, now more than ever, organizations are looking to mine and extract value from their data assets. They want to make significantly more money from the assets than they did in the past, with less risk by making use of data that's already available. Two excellent examples of this are Google and Facebook, who are literally giving away their services for free just to own your data. But it's not just limited to the big guys. Organizations of all sizes are now collecting more data than ever and are using it for strategic benefit. So what's driving this data growth? Well, in the past, we just didn't collect it. It was too expensive and too cumbersome. Additionally, with the rise of social media, mobile technologies, and geospatial data, there is much more data available to us. Now, with new technologies, we can capture and use it cost effectively. Now we can finally have the ability to collect more data. Organizations can drive more revenue and profit by delivering better products, better services, and attract better customers. And a lot like the tar fields you see on the screen, the information's always been there, but it's finally at a point where we can economically extract the oil out of those tar fields and make a profit. There are so many tools available today to analyze growing data. So what are the main challenges? Well, we know without doubt it's query performance and ease of use. Unfortunately, as your data grows, the time it takes to analyze that data also grows. Obviously, running a query on 1 million rows will always be much faster than running the same query on 1 billion rows. Unfortunately, to date, so much data does not get analyzed simply because it's too hard. People don't have the training, it's not intuitive, or perhaps it's too technical, or simply not available when they need it. Everyone is telling us ease of use is important. Gartner, in their recently released BI Magic Quadrant, revealed ease of use as the #1 purchase consideration when selecting a BI platform. In that Gartner report, there is a great quote from James Richardson about the consumerization of BI and how it offers a means for it to, and I quote, break out and reach many more users by offering faster, user-friendly, and more relevant BI. But it's not just Gartner saying this. The BI network research showed that 79% of users rated ease of use as either very important or essential. Strangely, only 23%, less than a quarter, said their BI tool was easy to learn and use. At the end of the day, ease of use drives user adoption. So why would you deploy a BI tool if you didn't want it adopted? Furthermore to this, the recent TWI Best Practices report for self-service business intelligence tells us access to BI is what gives companies their competitive edge and allows them to discover new business opportunities. In too many organizations, decisions are still not based on fact because of an inability to keep up with the demand for information and analytics. In today's demonstration, we'll showcase how Yellowfin delivers usability and why it is so highly regarded as an industry leader in BI. Now, while ease of use is the most desirable attribute of a BI solution, slow query performance is the #1 reason why projects fail. The latest BARC survey, which is the largest BI survey of its kind, has slow query performance as the top issue facing BI solutions. In fact, it has consistently shown up as the #1 issue over the past 10 years. The Data Warehouse Institute and the Gartner Magic Quadrant both agree, stating poor query performance is the top problem that will eventually drive users to replace their current data warehouse platform. 70% of all data warehouses experience performance issues. And you don't just have to have a lot of data to have issues with query performance. It may just mean you've reached the capacity of your current hardware, or perhaps you have extremely complex queries. Slow query performance is a problem, and growing data slows query performance. So what is the real impact of this? Well, we've all been conditioned by the Google experience. We expect instant answers, not in hours, not in minutes, but instantly. And it's this expectation that has forced us to invest heavily in new hardware infrastructure to cope with the additional demand. It is commonplace today for IT departments or BI teams to spend valuable man-hours constantly tuning the underlying database in an attempt to achieve acceptable performance. In our demonstration today, you will see how Vectorwise renders these workarounds and technology constraints as a thing of the past. Vectorwise is all about giving you fast answers without the need for continual tuning with indexes, aggregates, and cubes. I'd like now to hand over to Dan from Yellowfin to take you through the Yellowfin Vectorwise demonstration.
Thank you, Jason. And I'll just bear with me 1 second while I fire up Yellowfin. Okay, so now we're going to enter into the interactive portion of the webinar today. If I load things in. Now, if you have attended our joint webinar last year, you may have seen this before, but it is worth seeing again because it is the easiest way to show how dramatically fast the Vectorwise is compared to its competitors and what this means in the real world. On the left-hand side, we have the Vectorwise query, and on the right-hand side, we have a similar query running on another relational database. This particular database is one of the commercial leaders. We're talking about one of the big boys here. Now, the Vectorwise query takes just over a second, and the other database is still loading. I can kind of drill down on this report. I can ask all types of additional questions here, and I get my answers back almost instantly. The other database is still loading. I can go to table view. I can drill further. I can get everything I need while the other one is still going. And this is an apples for apples comparison. Both databases are running on identical hardware, identical queries, and an identical data set, which is about 150 million rows or about 10 gig. Now, you may think this is an unfair comparison, as you would normally use indexes or aggregates to speed up the database. Vectorwise has these capabilities too, if you need them, but why do it when you can get the same results minus the complexity? Here, we're mainly focused on end-user performance, but think about all those additional tasks the database teams go through to get the information available within an acceptable level. That can be reduced or even eliminated with Vectorwise. Is anyone else finding waiting painful? And this is just one report for one person. Multiply by the amount of people analysing data and the amount of potential reports in your organisation, and we're talking hugely significant differences. Differences that could mean the success or failure of your BI project. Users simply will not wait anymore. It may have been acceptable in the past to get up, grab a cup of coffee, have a chat to your colleague about last night's footy results, but no more. As Jason mentioned, thanks to Google and Co, people expect instantaneous information and instantaneous answers. Now, can you imagine this type of poor performance on a mobile device? Your iPad screen is probably going to go into lock mode before you see your results. I will also mention that this is extremely modest hardware. Now we're talking about 4 cores and 4 gigs of RAM, which is probably less than your typical mail server in a mid-sized organisation. And we're doing kind of deep drill down analysis on a decent data size. Also, the Bark BI survey tells us if reports take longer than even 10 seconds to load, they're often less used and less valuable. So here we go. We've just it's just come back, and if you're timing it, Ben, I think that was about 3 minutes versus 3 seconds. So we're talking about a big difference here. And hopefully it's clear there how fast Vectorwise is. But then what does this mean in being able to analyze data easily when it comes to growing data? So allow me to jump into the next dashboard tab. And this is where we really take it up a notch. Now we're talking 100 gig of data, and we're talking 1 billion rows. So we're really cooking with gas now. And performance-wise, as you can see, we're just taking seconds to load. And we've got about, I think, 4 reports here. 100 gig is a really great size to really show off how Vectorwise and Yellowfin can be the ideal solution for growing data. Because the 100 gig is usually the tipping point where your organisation will decide to spend more money on upgrading hardware, invest in tuning, or remodeling your database, or say, tune up users, you're going to have to deal with it. Now, the hardware configuration for this benchmarks costs less than 50K. Oracle submitted their own benchmark after acting using hardware that totaled 1.7 million and could only achieve half the performance of Vectorwise. Now you've seen how fast Vectorwise makes reportings and analytics. Now with some of Yellowfin's newer features, we'll see how easy it is to analyze your data. So if I click on my first report here, I can go from summary to multiple levels of detail. So Yellowfin gives you the ability to drill to many reports. So I can go on my detail report here and see a year-by-year breakdown of some of my goods. Click on it again, I can look at a box and whisker plot for food sales. So those who don't know it, looking at mean, median, quartiles, that kind of stuff. But what it means here is that you can really contain the analysis that your users see. So instead of having to hunt around for reports that they need, you can give them exactly what they need at a simple click that's very easy to get to. If I scroll down, I can do my standard kind of drilling down a hierarchy. Now this is 1 billion rows of data, so it really highlights the power and speed of Vectorwise when you're doing some really deep drilling here. But with Yellowfin, you're not just limited to drilling to one hierarchy. You can actually drill to anywhere in your data set. So say, for example, I'm a store manager. I'm looking at electronic sales, and I want to see where my people are buying from. I can go to my store. I can go to my store names and see where people are buying their products. But if I go in as the marketing manager and I want to see, I guess, the who for my marketing campaign, I can quickly look at my information by customer and then plot my campaigns. I guess the point is here, you don't always know the questions that's going to be asked of your data set. But with the ability to drill anywhere, it gives you a way to easily answer those questions. Now, one thing I always do like to mention with Yellowfin is our geospatial capabilities. And this is one thing that we do right out of the box. There's no plugins or add-ons. It's just another charting type. And if you've got geospatial data, we'll map it for you. We're also recently the first Australian BI vendor to receive a Ventana Research Award for location intelligence, which we're quite proud of. And as you know, location data can be quite large, so having the speed of Vectorwise behind it can make that analysis effortless. So here we've got a few examples of some of our mapping data. We can obviously map heat maps like so. We've got integration with Google Maps. And you can also add in your own layers in Yellowfin quickly and easily. So the next tab highlights the ways we can even perform a greater level of analysis and slicing and dicing. So once again, we're looking at 1 billion rows of data here. So first of all, you've got your filters on the right-hand side. And if I go, let's pick a few regions, and I say I want to look at products at a particular price point, and click Go, what that'll do is filter my whole data set. So you can ask the questions very, very quickly and easily. So you've got your franchisees managing stores. You don't want them to spend time deep diving into data. You want them to get the information they need right away in a way that they can easily consume that information to really allow them to get on with their job at hand. Some of the new features with Yellowfin 6 is series selection. So from here, I can quickly and easily flip between my metrics. I can see a trend. I can see if they're going up or down over time. And you might notice I actually have the ability to integrate that with my dashboard. So as I change my metric, all my reports change to reflect that metrics, which means you can see multiple reports, multiple dimensions by the single metric. Where you would have had many reports, perhaps get that information. It's in a way you can easily consume it and just click to what you need. If I scroll down, you can see that we've got, I think, 4 reports here on this particular dashboard. You can imagine if you were using the other database, you're taking 12 minutes theoretically to get the information back, which just isn't acceptable. Now we've been able to perform our analysis quickly and easily thus far. The next stage is to be able to easily collaborate and make a decision on this information. And I'll show you some of the unique collaboration features we have in Yellowfin. The first one is the ability to annotate reports or data. So sometimes things happen that isn't captured in your data set. So you might have a marketing campaign, a GFC might hit, you might see a dip or a spike depending on things that happen. With Yellowfin, you have the ability to annotate information, so it's very clear to user base why things occurred. If I jump into one of these reports, as an extension on that, you can get a comment and a dialogue screen going on information. So on the right-hand side, we have a little comment stream. I see we've had a few comments in already. I can mark something as insightful if I think it's particularly important. I can add a comment in very, very easily. I'll just do that now. I can see that then pop up. There we go. I can also send comments to a whole group of people, a management team, an individual. It's open to whoever you want to send that information to. And I guess where a lot of this comes together from a Yellowfin perspective is within the Yellowfin inbox, which is a little bit different to your traditional inbox, I guess, that you'll know. With the Yellowfin inbox, what we're trying to do is bring your BI to you. I guess traditionally we saw people, you'd log onto your system, you'd look at your dashboard, you look at your reports, see what's changed, try to find the right information. But with the inbox, we try to bring that to you. So just at the top there, it's a little drop down. It alerts you to things you should be aware of. So if you're tracking any reports, if you've got anyone commenting on reports that you're looking at, if people send you information, it all comes to your inbox. You can quickly jump in and view the report that you need very, very quickly and very, very easily. So before I conclude by showing, I guess, the mobile piece, there is one item that I wanted to quickly show you, which is a bit of a differentiator for us if you haven't seen it before, and that's what we call Yellowfin Connect. So that's the ability to embed reports, embed dashboards anywhere. So that's web pages, wikis, etc. And we do that in a way that you might be used to embedding a YouTube clip, for example. You might open a report or open a video, you go a bit of script, such as just over here, and pop that script, for example, in your web page. And we have an example of this on the Yellowfin website, so you can check this out here. There's no smoke and mirrors. This is an embedded report. So on this report, I can drill. I can look at my table and chart view. I can filter information. All the things that I can do in the application, I can do as part of my embedded content. So what we're trying to do here is say, look, you can put your BI where it makes the most sense. Put it where you're making a decision. You know, you're moving from this application-centric model to an information-centric model. And you can put this, you know, imagine having this on your web page with, you know, a lot of users, a lot of data. You know, it's imperative to have performance that you need behind there as well. So lastly, as part of the demonstration, I wanted to show you is Yellowfin's mobile application. So I have a little simulator here that's running, which I'll show you in just a tick. So here is the Yellowfin mobile app. So this application, I'll tell you a little bit about it before we kind of show you it. I guess the way it was built is really for the consumer. So we thought about, you know, how people are using their iPad, you know, consuming magazines, and we built the application around that. And one of the key components of the iPad app is that it's all for once and consume anywhere. So as soon as I create anything in my browser, it's automatically available in my mobile device just by clicking refresh. So there's no need to republish content. There's no need to recreate content. It's just there automatically. So I'll show you, I guess, the makeup. The first thing we do is we create a connection. This is using your standard credentials that you would in Yellowfin. We're connected to the same demonstration that we have here showing you today. So the way it's made up, we have our favorites at the top, and they're divided into individual reports that you see here. If I scroll down, each of these strips represent a dashboard and the individual reports that are on that dashboard. I can open that up. I can see the dashboard as I would see it on the browser. So that was important to us to make sure, you know, you get the same experience, you know, anywhere you look from Yellowfin. So, you know, don't get confused as to, you know, what's what and what should be where. If I scroll down, I've also got my inbox-related reports down the bottom. So I can kind of jump into a report. I can, you know, use my fingers to kind of flick across to see my information. All the interactive functions are there, so I've got, you know, series selection. I can flick between my different series. I've got items like, you know, time series functionality, so, you know, you can, you know, pinch and squeeze to get your particular points in time. Unfortunately, you know, showing it this way doesn't really do it justice. You know, to get it in your hands and feel it is the best way to see it for yourself. So if you do have an iPad, there is a free download from the App Store, Yellowfin BI. But where I guess the iPad application, you know, really comes into its own is on the collaboration features. So I can, you know, share my analysis easily with my colleagues in whatever format that I wish. I can, you know, send it via mail or distribute it via a couple of ways. You know, I can add a comment in here, you know, very, very quickly, and I can see my comment stream appear, you know, see that information as well, the same way you see it in the browser. And that's really kind of where it comes into its own, I think. Now, Yellowfin mobile application does have the ability to cache data. So if you're, you know, jumping on a plane or, you know, traveling, you can cache information. What it does, it caches the top level of data, like we see here. But as soon as I kind of drill down into the data, it will then obviously hit the database to get the information that you need. Once again, this is where it's imperative to have a database like Vectorwise, you know, to allow your users to do the analysis they need very, very quickly and easily. You know, we're still talking about 1 billion rows of data here, and I'm doing the analysis on the iPad device, you know, in seconds. And lastly, just like the browser version, you know, collaboration features does pin together via the inbox. The same way, I just flick it down, I can get to the information that I need very, very easily. So that's it from me, from a demonstration perspective. I guess the way that we see it, it's really this killer 1-2 punch. You know, you're giving users the data at the speed that they demand and presenting it in a way that they can easily consume and analyze on any device. So I'm going to flick back to Jason now, who's going to take you through the rest of the webinar.
Thank you, Dan. It was an excellent demonstration of the fast and easy analytics for very large data sets. Data sets that have caused us significant trouble in the past. I'd like now to take a look at some independent benchmarks with the Transaction Processing Performance Council that supports what we've seen. These benchmarks are designed to push BI solutions to the limit. Vendors only participate if they believe that they can set a new performance record. Typically, these are the fastest of the fast. What you see here are vendor benchmark results for the 1 terabyte category. If you track these back over 10 years, you'll see there's been a gradual increase in performance. These modest increases are mainly the result of improvements in hardware and not necessarily database related. In May 2011, Vectorwise submitted a result that set a new benchmark record. But Vectorwise didn't just break the record for the 100 gigabyte, 300 gigabyte and 1 terabyte categories. It smashed the records by the largest margin in the benchmark's history for both performance, price performance and energy efficiency. And what's even more impressive is that these outstanding results were achieved using half the RAM and even half the cores than the previous benchmark leader. So hardware improvements were definitely not a factor here. If you need more convincing of Vectorwise's breathtaking performance, both Oracle and Microsoft submitted their benchmarks after the Vectorwise benchmark, and despite using more advanced hardware with more CPU cores and more memory, they could not come close to Vectorwise on either performance, price performance, or again, energy efficiency. It makes you wonder why they even bothered submitting a result at all. But as I say, wait, there's more. When you take a closer look at the 100 gigabyte results, you'll see that the top 3 results are all Vectorwise. HP, Dell, and just last week Cisco all chose Vectorwise as the database to run their TPCH benchmarks on. Why? Because they know it's by far and away the fastest. It's the fastest for price performance, and it was 70% less expensive than the next best benchmark. And finally, it consumed 78% less energy. When you then compare that to the next best non-Vectorwise result, Vectorwise was 4.5 times faster than a fully tuned Microsoft SQL Server system, which ran on a much larger server. And we have even more supporting analyst quotes. Gartner call it game-changing technology. Robin Blur from the Blur Group says this inevitably puts Vectorwise 4 years ahead of the competition. This is unprecedented. Forrester quotes by saying this is definitely a breakthrough, delivering faster results at a lower cost. But it's not just Vectorwise that is setting the pace. Yellowfin is also very highly acclaimed. The recent 2011 Wisdom of Crowds BI study compared 16 of the world's top leading BI vendors. 630 customers were surveyed, all with first-hand experience with vendor products. They rated Yellowfin very highly on all product usability and, in particular, ease of administration, overall usability, ease of installation, and third-party integration. Jos van Dongen, a highly respected independent industry analyst, is particularly impressed with Yellowfin's functional richness and simplicity. David Menninger praised the latest release of Yellowfin BI, Yellowfin 6, concluding that if you're looking for a user-friendly tool with collaborative and mobile capabilities that I refer to as the next generation of BI software, take a look at Yellowfin. But most importantly, end users have endorsed Yellowfin. Macquarie University are particularly pleased with Yellowfin's ease of use and are delighted with its continuing adoption across their organisation. And in fact, they've gone on to win awards from the Ventana Research Group for locational intelligence using Yellowfin. So what are some of our other customers and partners saying? Vectorwise and Yellowfin recently announced Econ BI as a new partner. Econ BI are an extremely innovative partner based in New Zealand that build high-performance e-commerce and business monitoring tools to deliver analytics to the media, financial, utility and retail sectors. They use Yellowfin's intuitive BI interface, latest mapping, mobile and collaborative capabilities, and in conjunction with Vectorwise's performance, enables them to deliver state-of-the-art high-performance analytics to their customers with an unmatched ROI. Both Yellowfin and Actian have a significant global presence. As you can see here from the map in front of you, just some of our joint partners and distributors around the world that can help you with both Vectorwise and Yellowfin. So in summary, we've seen how the two leading BI industry challenges of ease of use and performance are addressed by Yellowfin and Vectorwise. Yellowfin is intuitive, simple to deploy, and empowers end users to build and deploy reports without needing IT to assist. The Vectorwise analytical database is incredibly fast. Data can be interrogated without the need for expensive aggregates and continual fine-tuning. Yellowfin and Vectorwise combination delivers faster insight for quicker decisions, faster deployment with less complexity, and importantly, enables you to do more with less. We've seen Dan's demonstration of fast and easy analytics for growing data and how this powerful combination will allow you to interrogate data where it was just not possible before. So just to wrap up, we can show you endless analyst quotes, performance benchmarks, and product demonstrations. But you really have to try Yellowfin and Vectorwise for yourselves to see the real potential for your organization. Our customers and prospects are constantly surprised at what they can achieve. So please take up our challenge and see it for yourself. For more information including software downloads, white papers, product sheets, please contact yellowfinbi.com or actian.com. We also have LinkedIn communities where you can share ideas and gain direct access to our partners and customers. Try Yellowfin and Vectorwise today and see the difference this joint solution can make to empower you to make better decisions, faster decisions with your growing data set. Thank you for your attendance. It's now time to open up the webinar to your questions, and we'll do our best to respond. Thank you.